New music. New music.
Yes,
Did
sir.
you listen to the Pink Tape?
I did listen to the Pink Tape. I personally, I haven't really been a fan of the new rock, heavy metal wave into rap, like integrating into rap. It's just not my thing. I would say like there's some songs where I really like it. I feel like DC the Don. I talked about him last week. He does it really well. As a person, I don't really like it. Hits my ear right when I hear it, but I feel like the second half of the album, like he was going nuts. Like from I Gotta down, he there was like no misses on it. Besides probably that Nicki Minaj song,
You
which
didn't like it?
yeah, I just don't. Nah, that wasn't my
I I
thing.
didn't I didn't make it through that side of the album, but
You should, if you want to like appreciate it. I would say the second half was better. Like if you would have, if I was him, honestly, I would have dropped the second half because it really didn't sound much like the first half. I would have dropped the second half as like a
uh
first album, and then how he did like the Eternal Take Part Two thing, like how he
the
did that. I would have,
deluxe.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would have dropped it as a deluxe because you don't really. I feel like a lot of people had that opinion. Like it was just like it's not bad, but it's not what you wanted from Uzi, I guess.
Yeah,
And yeah,
that listening to it, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't make it through like 4 songs. I didn't make it. I got the first song, the intro. I know Uzi can rap, and the intro he was kind of going crazy. So I fucked with the intro, which was cool. But everything after that, I'm like, yeah, this ain't me. But it had me thinking about just Uzi in general, bro. Like I feel like the state of hip hop. I don't know. I think we might have talked about this on an older episode, like who's the big three or who's the three at the top. And I feel like it was Jack Harlow, Lil Uzi, those two names. I don't know who the other names would be, but those two names for me, like where hip hop is at. That's what I'm like. Lil Uzi's been the influence of a lot of this, most of this, him and Cardi, and I was like, I have to give him props and I respect it because like he puts out hits and he's dictating where music's going. So he's obviously like important to this thing. I just didn't particularly like this project and it wasn't for me, but I was like it's crazy to think about like where the sound is at and how much influence he had. And if you go through, I know initially, I think the second or third song, there was a couple songs where he sounded like Chief Keef on that bitch, and I was like this is a evident and clear like influence, even though he said it in the past that Chief Keef influenced him a lot. But it just had me thinking. I don't know. It just has me thinking about who's influencing who, and how like Chief Keef is responsible. Chief Keef is all these niggas' fathers, all of them.
yeah, yeah. And I feel like Cardi is all these like the current niggas, their fathers too, because sorry. I feel like Whole Lot of Red was like almost like one of the kickstarters of this wave of rap. And I'm kind of ready to say it's almost a classic album just because of the fact that the amount of influence it had on the current generation of rap. If you go listen to a lot of what people are doing, like Yeet, like I said, DC the Don, this Uzi project, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, like a lot of the newer guys that are getting really big are trying to make Whole Lot of Red, in my opinion. Like they're just making really, they're making worse versions of it. I never feel like I don't feel like there isn't going to be a better album than a Whole Lot of Red from that type of from that
You
genre,
liked Whole Lotta Red?
and not at first. And that's the thing. When I was sitting there listening to the Uzi project, I was sitting there like everybody is trying to do this. Like everybody is trying. He did it. I feel like now I definitely appreciate it a lot more than I did before. Like it's for where rap music is at right now in the US. I feel like that album just kind of reflects it. Like it really is what is going on. I feel like everybody's making super hard rock metal beats. Like that's really a big thing right now. So I feel like
It's
that's
so
just how I
interesting.
feel
It's
about it.
it's so it's so weird where hip hop is at right now. It's like I see the progression of how you get from Chief Keef to Yeet, I guess. Like fine. But why? I don't get it. I don't get it. So like um this week I had a post get picked up by Hot Freestyle of me talking about UK rap versus US rap. And I think I have a lot to say on the subject, but it just had me thinking like it's not like I didn't like American rap. It was more like I was forced to look elsewhere for the things that I was looking for in hip hop because we're not doing it here. And it just had me thinking like, does this have something to do with the natural progression of music where it's like before how we had sort of like blue like the rock and roll era and then it got popularized in America and now it's like it became like this punk thing. Is that why? Is this just what happens in America? Or is this just where we're at right now? I don't see like I don't know how you get from this back to real bars. I don't see it happening. So it's like, where are we?
I think also like I keep talking about TikTok, but I feel like TikTok really changed it too because everybody's trying to make stuff that'll fit well on there and that'll get picked up and go viral. And that's the bigger thing with music now. I feel like it's used as a way to go viral and to get big in a way. So I feel like people
Yeah.
aren't really sitting there taking as much time with their music and like being intentional with what they make. I feel like it's a lot of just hopping on rock beats. Like I don't feel like it's a lot of effort, to be honest.
Yeah. That I think a big part of it is the production. Um I think the best producers in the world aren't on this continent anymore. Wait, I won't say that. The people making the best music right now, production wise, producer wise, it's not here. I think that's another thing. It's very electronic, very, there's not a lot of musicality to the beats, I feel like.
Yeah,
And that sort of force, I mean, when artists go to record something, I imagine that influences how they make the music, is what they're hearing. So that could be part of it too. I think it's a lot of factors at play, but I think musically, there's a lot of producers in other places doing a lot more creative things than here.
yeah. That's I always feel like the Afro beats, especially it, the beats are always what intrigue me first, and I feel like with rap, when I started like in rap, that's what would draw me in because I'm just a music guy. Like I played sax, I played guitar, I listened for stuff like that, and when you have like real instruments, a live band, stuff like that, or just putting more time into like what you're doing with the beats and making beats with like all that stuff like you hear it more in like afro beats and reggaeton now than you do